Welcome back to Wealthy Mentor Trading, guys. Today is December the 12th, 2021. Today I'm going to be looking at the S&P 500. Where we left off on Friday, we had a great week. I'm also going to be taking a look at 4 stocks that are ready to push higher this week. Names like Apple, which had a great week, up 11%. Microsoft, 6% with all due respect. It had an awesome week as well. And Tesla and Ford creeping up to all-time highs, up 12% on the week. With that being said, guys, please give this video a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and be sure to check out our $99 promo on Discord for 2 months to join us. And that entails swing trading, day trading, options trading callouts, analyst upgrades, market analysis, and the whole 9 yards. If you are interested in that, the link in the description should take you to the checkout page. And if you haven't joined our community on Instagram, be sure to check out Wealthy Mentor Trading on IG for all the latest updates. Okay, with that being said, we do have the S&P 500 chart open here. And as I discussed last week, guys, we're at that $4,500 support line. And we had a bullish week, right? All throughout the week, we were pushing higher. And I was looking above that 4650 line to create that trend change. And you know what? We did get that. And we did close Friday's session with what I wanted to see was a break above 4,700, and we did get that, right? We did have a close at 4713, and we aren't too far away from all-time highs right now, right? We have the daily chart here. I am going to zoom in, and we do have all-time highs here at 4743. So going into next week, 4720 is that first key resistance line, and a break above that, I am looking at 4730 and 4715. Overall, we were in a time where we thought we aren't getting a Christmas rally, right? We were at that $4,500 zone. As you guys can see here, this big long wick represents buyers stepping in. And over here, we did have a nice gap up on the 7th of December, consolidating here for quite a bit for a few days. And finally, we got that breakthrough on Friday. Now, it wasn't much. This breakthrough happened in the last hour of trading, but you always want to see how the stock closes, how the market closes on certain days. And Friday was an area for me to judge to see if we're going to close on strength or weakness. And it proved to be strength, right? And that gives you clues going into next week. And as I mentioned, 4720 is a key resistance line. So I want to see a break above that for take profits of 4730 and 4750. Overall, I am bullish on the markets. I do want to see that break above 4720 to confirm that uptrend that we're in, and a push into that Christmas rally that everyone's looking for. All right. So that's my thoughts on the S&P 500. Going into the 4 names that I want to look at, and the first one being Apple, right? Apple, as I mentioned last week, it was on my watch list and it performed really well. I am going to switch over here to the 30-minute time frame, and you guys can see here. Here we are on Monday. I was looking at a break above that 165 area. We broke right past that. We hit a resistance point at 168, dropped down to test 165. So that's what you guys want to do, right? When you guys break a resistance area, such as 165, which was a key one, you want to test the next one. Now, if the next one gets rejected and you drop back down, you want to see that breaking point of 165 hold for potential strength to see if buyers are strong and are stepping in. And we got that. You know, we got that 165 hold, and then we pushed higher the next day. And essentially, we made all-time highs closing Friday session just underneath that 180 resistance psychological point. Now, going into next week, I am continuing to be bullish on Apple. I do have targets of 184 and 188 respectively. We also do have analyst upgrades of $200 on Apple, so that is pretty bullish. And there have been some rumblings on Apple, you know, with their new AirPods 2 coming out sooner than expected. And all that type of stuff leads analysts to be bullish. And the majority of analysts have targets of $200 on Apple. So for me, I am looking above that 180 zone for a potential 184, 188 target going into next week. Keep in mind that we are overbought on the higher time frames on the RSI. However, those are lagging indicators, and I would never base my analysis on that. But it is there to keep you guys to understand that, you know what, have that in the back of your mind, right? We did push up over 11% on the week, so that is pretty substantial for a name like Apple. It does run with the S&P 500, and to me, it was the catalyst for the S&P 500 turning things around. Now, let's just say we have an off week where do I see us going? 177 is that key support line. It was resistance over here. Previous resistance now turns to support. So what you want to see on a pullback is that 177 hold. Now, if we cannot hold 177, we could potentially see ourselves dropping back down here to 173.5, as we did consolidate here on this bull flag and then broke higher, right? So 177 breaks, you're looking at shorting positions down to 173.5, and your second take profit is that 170 area, as we did have support here, and it was a big resistance point here, as this was previous all-time highs. So 170 is a very big number if we do see continued weakness. If we were to drop in the S&P 500, and let's just say we can't break above that $4,700 area, Apple could drop down to that 170 for a small tiny correction before moving higher. But overall, as I see it right now, the chart is bullish. We are in the 30-minute time frame, and I am looking for that break above that 180 area. Okay, so that's my views on Apple. Keep that name on your watch list. Next name had a pretty nice move, Microsoft, MSFT. And here we are on Microsoft, right? I am going to zoom in here to the daily time frame and give you guys a clear picture, right? We have all-time highs at 350, right? We did have a nice bounce here from that 320 zone, right? This is when we saw market weakness, tech sector weakness, and we had a pretty bullish week, gaining up 6%, going here to the 30-minute time frame. And like I said, we held that 320 support line and pushed higher. We did have a nice gap up in correlation with the markets as well. And we did break past that 337 area, which was strong resistance multiple times here that we couldn't break ever since November the 30th. We've been into that downtrend. We got rejected once more here on December the 8th. And finally, this week, on market strength, we broke past that 337.50 area and just shy of that 344 resistance. Going into next week, I do want to see a break above 344 for potential take profits at 346, 348, and obviously we do have that all-time highs at 350. If we do see continued strength in the tech sector in the S&P 500, I definitely would be looking at that 350 all-time high retest pretty soon. Now, to the downside, we do have that 337 area, as I mentioned. It was strong resistance. Now it turns to support. I want to see this hold. If that does not hold and we see market weakness, tech sector weakness, so that's QQQ, I want to short below that 337.50 area for potential take profits at 335 and 332, where we did have this consolidation zone and finally broke out. Okay, pretty bullish on Microsoft overall, guys. And the whole tech sector did push up higher last week. So I am going to look for continued momentum in the tech sector for obviously Microsoft to also gain from that as well. All right. So that is Microsoft on the 30-minute time frame. Bullish on Microsoft. Another name I want to discuss, Tesla, right? Tesla, as I mentioned, we were into this formation here, this flag formation on the weekly time frame. And I'm going to show you guys here, right? Here is that flag formation that I wanted to see break to the upside. And as you guys know, this is on the weekly time frame. So these things do take some time to get sorted out and to reach that endpoint right here. Now, I did want to see that area on the bottom hold, and this is key for you guys, right? So we did hold this flag formation here as we did close above it. We did wick down and try to fill that gap here from 950 to 910, and we held at 950, and to me that was bullish. Now if it was bearish, we would have gone down and filled that gap and pretty much went with what everyone was thinking, right? A break below 950 will take us down to 900. And you got to understand, not everything what people say and what people feel, that's what the market's going to do. It's the exact opposite, right? Sometimes you have to think differently. And to me, holding this flag formation right here and having this green candle, which is a doji candle, which does show that it is a reversal candle, and it closed above this line right here, this trend line on that bull flag formation, to me that was significant, right? So going into next week, what am I looking at? Here we are in the 30-minute time frame, right? We had strong resistance last week, and I am going to draw this with you guys here so you guys can see, right? We do have strong resistance where we couldn't break this right here, that 1070 area. We got rejected once, 2 times here, and finally, essentially, we broke down based on Elon Musk selling further shares, right? I believe he's now at 12 billion shares sold, $12 billion. So on Friday, we were looking at that 1020 mark where I did assure members at Wealthy Mentor Trading, I was looking above that for call positions. Unfortunately, we did trend below that 1020 line and unable to break it. The volume was weak, so I was watching the volume to see if buyers were stepping in. And unfortunately, it being Friday, too, we've been on a downtrend. It wasn't the case last week that we couldn't break. So going into next week, I am looking for a break above that 1020 area for potential take profits at one right here, 1050, which was a consolidation point, right? And the second take profit at that 1070 area, which we did have a hard time breaking. Now, let's just say we swiftly break through target number 1 and target number 2. Where do I see it going? Right here. That $1,100 psychological point is key for me, as we did trend around here, unable to break it on December the 2nd, and we have been in a downhill since then, right? So key areas above 1020, 1050, 1070, and 1100 is that magical round number that I want to see to the upside. Now to the downside, we do have that 986, 980 as key support. As you guys can see here, we did bounce off that. And we have this big number here, that 950 area, as a next level where we did have a nice bounce and obviously pushing up all the way to 970. So going into tomorrow, that 980, 986 line is key support for me. If that does break, shorting opportunities to 950 would be welcomed. And if we do see weakness, and if we do break out of that bull flag formation, that pennant flag that we're in on the weekly time frame, we could potentially see that gap down at 910, 900 get filled. However, as I mentioned, well, we have bounced off that area 2 times now. So I am neutral, but optimistic and being bullish on this, right? Since it's held that area and it's tricked the bears a few times now, I do see us moving higher. Now, going into the daily time frame to show you guys the flag formation. Well, I guess my computer does not want to work, but here we are on the daily time frame. So guys, so we had 1 bounce, 2 bounce. Now, as I mentioned, we are going to try to proceed higher here, inch higher. So that 1070, $1,100 area is really key for me for the overall trend change, right? If we can get past that, we could potentially hit the top of this flag at that 1172 area. Now, that would be the most bullish case. Now, the most bearish case is that break below that 950 area for that gap fill at that 910. It would fill the gap here, and it was previous resistance here back on January the 22nd, 2021. So those are key areas for me to look at to both sides of the tape going on Tesla heading into next week. All right, guys, so that was Tesla. One last name that I wanted to look at that did finish at all-time highs, and this one kind of fell through the cracks, and no one really expected it to go higher like this, and that's Ford. Ticker F is the ticker, and we do have, I was looking for a break above $21, and we did break above that. I am going to switch over here to the daily time frame and to show you where we have been trending in pretty much for a solid month. And here we are, right? We have been trending into this bull flag formation ever since November the 8th, and unable to break that $20 area. Let's just say $20 to $21. On Friday last week, right, we did have a strong candle wick, strong candle formation right here, finishing at the very top. That leads me to think that we are bullish on Ford. Now, we do have analyst upgrades, a street high of $22. So one thing, look for analyst upgrades going into next week, since we've already hit those targets, right? They could be bullish and push that target to whatever they see fit, right? And 2, look for continuing volume on Ford. And 3, also look for the S&P 500 to cooperate. So you want to obviously have the market cooperate for stocks like this to move higher. The EV sector has been booming this year. I just mentioned Tesla, so Ford is following along. There has been an increase in production for their Mustang Mach-E. So they are proceeding with those orders and they are taking more orders. So that is bullish. So going into next week, what am I looking at? I am looking for a break above $22 for psychological take profit at 23. And I do have a large take profit area at that $25 mark, right? Now, overall, what do I want to see on the downside hold? I do want to see this hold $20, right? So if we do see some weakness, look for Ford to test $20 and then proceed higher, or we can come out on Monday, pushing higher right off the bat, breaking $22, hitting target number 1 and target number 2. That would be the most optimal case. Now, if we cannot hold $20, where do I see us going? Right, we have short-term support at that $19 area. If we break 19, look for 1850 and 1750 respectively to get hit to the downside. Now, overall, as I mentioned, we were in this bull flag formation for over a month now, so I don't see us going below that $19 area, but just for safety's sakes, we do have these support lines to the downside. I am bullish on Ford, guys, especially with the EV sector booming and the whole craze around electronic vehicles. So watch Ford going into next week for a push higher. All right, guys, those are 4 stocks that I want to see push higher going into next week, and they are pretty strong ones, right? Ford is at all-time highs. Microsoft is nearing all-time highs after a great week, pushing up 6%. Apple, I mentioned it last week's stream, and I'm mentioning it again. Keep this name on your watch list as we are going for that Christmas rally on Apple. However, keep in mind a lot of the higher time frames are oversold, are overbought on the RSI, and Tesla still within that flag formation that I want to see break to the upside. 950 is that key support line. All right, guys, thank you for tuning in. If you are interested in trading with us at Wealthy Mentor Trading on Discord, we do have that 99 promo. Love to see you guys in there. See you guys. Good luck trading next week. Bye.